Space. It's both mysterious and hostile. Naturally, this makes it an awesome setting for video games, and EVE Online is a standout example. Starting life way back in 2003, this title has continued to expand year on year. I've been a long-time player of the game right from the very first day, returning to it again and again over the years. So when developers CCP reached out to me to ask if I wanted to take a new look at the game, I was happy to do so. In this sponsored video then, I begin the game from scratch with a brand new character and explore a number of aspects of this vast game. Let's jump in then and take a look at my first 20 hours with a new character in EVE Online.
Now that the Seeker has been reduced to scrap, let's see if we can find anything valuable in the wreckage.
The best way to get started with EVE Online then, of course, is to begin with the tutorials, and that's what I made sure to do. The reason for this is very simple. I wanted to see where EVE Online stands now compared to where I previously played, and it has been a few years since I checked in with EVE Online last. So even though I started EVE Online way back in 2003 during the beta phase and have been back during the interceding years numerous times, the game expands so fast, and CCP have added so much content that things can really change in just a couple of years. So the tutorials are a great way to start. They will give you a good bunch of credit to start with, or ISK as it's called in EVE Online, and you'll even get a whole slew of ships to get you on your way as well. But neither money nor ships or any other equipment are any good without skills. Skills in EVE Online are trained in real time. You simply set the skills you want and you can see the little timer there. This can be in hours, it can be in days, it can even be in weeks. So you can see the number of skills I've got accessible here. I can purchase more. The white block means they've been trained. The ones in blue are in the skill queue. The grey blocks means they're not yet trained but are available, and the gold blocks means that they're not available to me on this particular account. And the reason for that is because I'm using an alpha clone here. So yeah, everyone in every single player that is in EVE Online is a clone. If you die, you're resurrected in a cloned body. But there's two types of clones. You get alpha clones, which I'm using here, and then you get omega clones. So a few years ago now, EVE Online transitioned over to being a free-to-play title. So you can jump in without worrying about it and start as an alpha clone. And in fact, you can do quite a lot of gameplay here. You're accessible to a lot of ships, a lot of missions. You can train up a lot of skills. So whilst there are some restrictions for the alpha clone, they're not significant, at least not right at the start. They're not going to hit you right in the face right out of the gate. Gives you time then, if you want to try EVE Online out, you can try it for free, and it gives you time to kind of check things out and see how you feel about things. However, all that said, there are a load of skills, and so it's very difficult to know where to start, where to begin, what you really want to do in EVE Online. Fortunately, CCP have set up a new website here called EVE Academy, and basically they break the EVE experience down into 4 categories. So what I've chosen here is the Enforcer category. This is basically everything to do with PvE. And because EVE Online is so big, there are dozens and dozens of different activities that you can do with PvE. So basically this will guide you along the way, telling you what type of ship to use, where to go to do what type of activity, whether you want to get into Abyssal Space, or whether you want to do scanning, whether you want to look for encounters, missions, or whatever else. It will also tell you what type of ship is best for you to use, and what type of outfitting you will need for the ships as well. So this is a fantastic way to start out if you're not at all clear on where you want to go. Link is in the video description. For me though, I was really keen on just trying various different things out. So I started with the agency and checked out a few different agents. Agents are where you get the missions, and seeing as this was a brand new character, I really felt the best place to start was the career agents. These are essentially a secondary layer of tutorials and will guide you through specific aspects of the game. And again, there's a whole ton of money to be made here, a lot of money when you're starting out actually, and you'll also get a lot of modules and a lot of ships as well. So here we are trying a bit of scanning. This is sending out some probes to try and track down at various locations in deep space. So the red icons, there are anomalies of some sort, maybe other types of things, essentially things you can go down to and interact with. But first we need to determine their precise locations so we can warp to them. So yeah, as I was saying, I thought I'd start out trying various different activities to see which one I really wanted to zero in on and focus my time on the most. I really felt that the career agents were a great way of doing this because, well, like I say, they serve as an introduction and an overview to the various different game mechanics. And right here I found something to salvage. This is a part of the tutorial process, but it is an entire career path if you so want. There's a whole batch of different skills you can pursue in order to become an expert salvager, and of course you can buy a dedicated ship for this as well. Very early on though, I knew I wanted to get into PvE, and the career agents kind of helped settle my mind on this particular pursuit. Ultimately, that led me to Abyssal Space, and we'll get to that in just a moment, but first, take a look at this and a good listen as well. Explosions in EVE Online are extremely satisfying. Some truly great visuals there, and just look at those after effects as well. So, Abyssal Dead Space. What's this all about? Well, these right here are isolated pockets of space. These are accessible by using special filaments. These all come in different categories, so you get Firestorm, Electrical, and many others. Each category has a different type of space that it leads to. What's more, each category also comes in different tiers. These start at Tier 0, which are called Tranquil and are the easiest, and increase upwards from there. Now, I did find I had to be a little bit careful here because some of the enemies at least can be pretty aggressive and pretty powerful, and it really doesn't take all that much for them to completely take your ship out. So just make sure you've got the right build, and this build right here I'll leave in the video description. Effectively, what this allowed me to do was complete many Dead Space areas with just an alpha clone and some basic skills. The amount you start off with effectively, so could quite easily jump straight into Dead Space. All I needed was the filaments, which you can get from the in-game marketplace. And just as we're looking at the game here without the UI, this is Control F9, gets rid of the UI. Although I don't play the game frequently in this way, I do like to disable the UI sometimes, just so I can appreciate the beauty and the just the mystery of these type of areas. To me at least, these are very, very nice. So effectively, what I did here was you jump into Abyssal Dead Space by activating the filaments. It takes you to this private area where other players can't reach you. And yeah, as soon as I was in here, I noticed there are some buffs or debuffs. You can see that active at the bottom of the screen where we've got the little HUD just above that. There's an icon there, purple one in this case, and that will give you some type of buff or debuff. So it may make your shields weaker, but your weapons stronger, for example. There's also a gate which activates in this room or this area as soon as you've killed all the enemies. The gate will then transport you to the next area. Each Abyssal Dead Space has 3 separate rooms or 3 separate areas that you have to completely eliminate all the areas. You can loot the main container here and then head on out. Eventually you'll complete the area and then be returned back to a real space. Now, there is one little snag here. At the top left-hand corner of the screen, you can see a red timer. You get 20 minutes to complete the entire Abyssal Space region. If you don't do it in that time, the Abyssal Space region will collapse, at which point you will die and lose your ship. But that only happened to me once. Essentially, you just have to plan carefully and take a little bit of care as to how you approach the enemies. For me then, Abyssal Dead Space was definitely one of the highlights of my first 20 hours with this particular account, and will be something I spend a lot more time doing. I'm planning on building a better ship, a better version basically of the catalyst I've got here, using Tech 2 modules and weapons, so make it a bit more powerful, and I should be able to get through them that much quicker. Eventually I'll move on to Tier 1 filaments, which are called Calm, and they will be a little bit more difficult, I guess, than what I experienced right here. But yeah, as you can see, I finally completed that particular Abyssal Dead Space, and this is all the loot that I gained. So yeah, you can make quite a bit of money just from doing this. But that said, I'm not all about conflict. I do like to make some money passively as well. And one very, very good way of doing this is Planetary Interaction. Although, actually, this is my first real experience with Planetary Interaction. I did a bit a few years ago, but I think I've pretty much forgot all of that, so had to start from scratch right now. Essentially though, just find a planet, get a command center from the marketplace relevant and specific to the type of planet you're on. So this is an oceanic planet, so I needed an oceanic command center. We can then deploy that onto a specific region of this planet. So in this case, I'm looking for aqueous liquids. We can scan the planet there and essentially look for the area where we expect to find the highest volume of this particular resource. So yeah, just deployed the command center here, set up some extractors. That then gets collected over time, and you can set how long a period you want them to collect for. So maybe just a few hours or maybe a few days. At the end of that time period, you can return here and collect all the resources and go away and sell them. A nice way of making a bit of money, whether you're offline, online, or doing some combat or mining or whatever else you're doing. A nice little sideline business, basically. And that really is the thing with EVE Online. There's a whole ton of different activities. I kind of like the way that CCP have broken it down into 4 categories with EVE Academy. I think that's the right approach. But it's also worth keeping in mind that each of those 4 categories has many, many different subcategories. For now then, I'm going to keep pursuing my career in both Planetary Interaction as well as PvE in Abyssal Dead Space. I'm not quite sure yet what I'll progress in the terms of ships. I've got my eyes set on a cruiser though, so we'll just have to see how it goes. In either event, I'll be back soon with another video in EVE Online. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.